The story begins with Nancy, a teacher, searching for her missing earring. Unable to find it anywhere, she questions her son Harry's babysitter about it. The babysitter denies knowing anything about the earring, but Nancy suspects her of taking it. The babysitter, frustrated by the accusation, claims she doesn't remember anything and quits her job on the spot. Nancy's husband, Fred, is an eye doctor who spends most of his time at his clinic. Their life seems to be going smoothly otherwise, and they share a happy marriage. During dinner one evening, Nancy tells Fred that she still hasn't found her earring. Fred suggests she might have misplaced it somewhere in the house and reassures her not to worry, as it will likely turn up. The next morning, Nancy heads to school to teach, while Fred goes to his clinic to see patients. At school, Nancy has a close friend named Dave, a fellow teacher. The two are best friends and often share personal matters. While chatting in the school garden, they notice a car parked outside. When Nancy asks about it, Dave explains that it belongs to a man named Quiz, a former bus driver whose son attends the school. He adds that Quiz is known to physically discipline his son. That night, Nancy returns home and starts watching TV. She tries calling Fred, but he doesn't pick up. Her thoughts drift back to her missing earring, prompting her to search the house again. She even visits Fred's office, where she finds several models he's created, though she doesn't understand their purpose. While checking Fred's wardrobe, she discovers some old belongings, including letters that shock her and leave her wondering about their significance. Later, as she takes out Fred's clothes to wash, she finds a note in his pocket with a woman's name written on it. This discovery makes her suspect that Fred might be cheating on her. When Fred arrives home, Nancy hides the note and pretends everything is fine. The next morning at school, Nancy confides in Dave, sharing her suspicion that Fred is having an affair and asking for his help to confirm it. Dave hesitates, saying it's a personal matter and he doesn't want to interfere. That evening, while preparing dinner, Nancy's preoccupation with Fred's possible infidelity causes her to ruin the meal. She's visibly upset but doesn't tell Fred why. Later, Fred approaches her, apologizing if he's done anything wrong and suggesting they restart their life together. That night, while everyone is asleep, Nancy goes to the garage to check Fred's belongings. There, she finds a camera and wonders why he would need it. Suddenly, she hears a noise outside and grabs a hammer before rushing out. She discovers a raccoon rummaging through the trash, which flees upon seeing her. Then, she notices a light on in the house and sees Fred with another woman inside. Her son Harry runs out and she chases after him. As she follows him into the woods, she finds herself on a road surrounded by dead bodies under her feet. Suddenly, she's drowning in water, only to wake up and realize it was a nightmare fueled by her suspicions about Fred's infidelity. The next day at school, Dave sees Quiz's son and asks if his father abuses him. The boy doesn't respond and walks away. Nancy meets Dave and insists that she's certain Fred is hiding something, pointing to the evidence she's found. She asks Dave to help her sneak into Fred's clinic to investigate further. Her plan is for Dave to pose as a patient, use the restroom as an excuse, and leave a window unlocked so she can enter later that night. Dave is reluctant, fearing the consequences, but Nancy grabs his hand and he agrees, revealing that he secretly has feelings for her. The next morning, Dave visits Fred's clinic, pretending to need an eye checkup. Fred, recognizing Dave as a teacher at the same school as Nancy, asks if he knows her. Dave, nervous, denies knowing Nancy, claiming he's an introvert who avoids interacting with other teachers. Feeling uneasy, Dave tries to leave but Fred stops him, administering eye drops and telling him to rest. Overwhelmed, Dave gets up anyway and heads to the restroom, where he stuffs paper into the window lock to prevent it from closing. As he leaves the clinic, the receptionist warns him that his checkup isn't complete, but Dave ignores her and steps outside. His vision is blurry from the eye drops, nearly causing an accident. A police officer approaches, hands him his jacket, and advises him to get home safely. Dave meets Nancy and tells her he's too scared to continue helping her, but she acknowledges the risk he took and thanks him. In a moment of closeness, they kiss, revealing mutual feelings. That night, Nancy lies to Fred, saying she's attending a friend's party, but instead she and Dave go to Fred's clinic. Dave opens the window for her and she sneaks inside to search Fred's office. Meanwhile, Fred receives a call from a family friend whose son is experiencing eye pain. She says she's bringing the boy to the clinic, prompting Fred to head there immediately. While searching, Nancy finds multiple debit cards, one of which she notes down, and photographs of houses taken with Fred's camera. She takes one of the photos and is interrupted by a call from Dave, warning her that Fred is coming. Nancy escapes just in time. Fred arrives, treats the boy, and asks the boy's mother about Nancy. The mother reveals that Nancy never came to her house, making Fred realize Nancy lied to him. In his office, Fred finds something belonging to Nancy, confirming she was there. Nancy goes to Dave's house, where they grow closer. However, Quiz and his men show up outside shouting insults. Dave confronts them and scares them off. Back inside, Dave tells Nancy he can't be with her while she's still with Fred, urging her to leave him. Nancy admits she still loves Fred and wants to confirm his affair before making a decision. She also worries about losing custody of Harry, whom she loves deeply. Upset, Dave asks her to leave. That night, Nancy has another nightmare about Harry running away. When she wakes, she finds Fred sitting in front of her. He asks about her night out, and she lies, saying it was great. Fred doesn't press further. Nancy begins investigating the debit card she found, discovering purchases made with it. In their bedroom, she finds a gift from Fred, who also returns her missing earring, saying it was meant to be a surprise. He reassures her that everything will be okay, and Nancy smiles. They attend a party, where Nancy sees Dave and later thinks about him, realizing she's developed strong feelings for him. Days later, unable to resist, Nancy calls Dave at night, saying she's ready to be with him but needs proof of Fred's affair to justify leaving him. Dave agrees to help. The next day they begin following Fred, tracking him to a hotel where he books a room. Nancy sneaks into the room and finds handcuffs and suspicious items, wondering what Fred is planning. Meanwhile, Dave distracts Fred in the hotel lobby, suggesting they have a drink. Fred declines, saying he's leaving, and Dave calls Nancy to warn her. She escapes the room just in time. The next morning, Dave tells Nancy they need a photo of Fred with his supposed girlfriend to expose him. Back home, Nancy examines Fred's models closely and realizes they correspond to the houses in the photos she found. Researching the addresses, she uncovers a chilling truth. The houses are linked to murders of women. She concludes that Fred is a serial killer who lures women, visits their homes, and kills them. Meanwhile, Dave follows Fred to a cabin in the woods, where he sees Fred with a woman. Dave sneaks inside and finds the woman bound, with her throat cut, on the verge of death. Fred spots Dave and chases him with a knife. In the struggle, they fall through a window. Fred recognizes Dave and mentions knowing he's connected to Nancy. Dave manages to grab the knife and stabs Fred in the stomach, causing him to fall into the water. Believing Fred is dead, Dave burns his clothes and checks his phone, seeing multiple missed calls from Nancy, who had been trying to warn him about Fred's true nature. The next morning, Dave meets Nancy and lies, saying he caught Fred in the act and told him to leave for good. Nancy struggles to believe Fred would disappear so easily but accepts Dave's story. She lives in fear that Fred might return, while Dave is haunted by nightmares of the murder he committed. At a town festival, Nancy attends with Harry. A friend asks why Fred hasn't returned, and Nancy lies, saying he extended his vacation. The friend's husband claims to have seen Fred nearby, shocking Nancy. She spots Fred in the crowd and panics, searching for Harry. She encounters Dave, who, unbeknownst to her, is there to kill Harry to eliminate any obstacles to being with her. Noticing a gun in Dave's hand, Nancy realizes his intent, grabs Harry and flees. At home, Dave arrives and confesses everything. He saw Fred murder a woman, and when Fred tried to kill him, Dave killed Fred in self-defense. Harry overhears this, learning his father is a serial killer. Dave says he's going to turn himself in, but as he reaches for his phone, Nancy snatches it and pushes him, causing him to hit his head and bleed. She takes his gun, tells him she's getting help, and goes to find Harry. Outside, Nancy finds Harry with Fred, who is alive. Fred urges her to forget what she knows and start their life anew. He puts her and Harry in a car, but Nancy pulls the gun on him, calling him a killer and refusing to forgive him. She tells Harry to run. As Fred attacks her, she shoots, but the bullet grazes his head. Fred lunges at her, but Nancy fights back, hitting him with her shoe until his head splits open, killing him. Returning home, Nancy finds Dave gone. A narration reveals that Nancy and Dave later marry and live happily together, bringing the story to a close. What did you think of the story? Let us know in the comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. Don't forget to like and share the video.